how to look inside the human hand without harming the human, so I'm not allowed to use a knife. But why should we want to do this? For example, we have here a human, let's call him or her Alex, and we know something about Alex. Alex has a disease that you heard about already, arthritis. So, as Birte already told, arthritis starts usually in the hand, in the small joints, and affects everyday movements and your everyday life. And if we want to help people with arthritis and understand the disease better, we have to know what's going on inside the human hand. So we want to take a look inside of it. We could take Alex and Alex's hand to a physician and let the physician examine Alex and take a look how Alex moves and then say something about gets the disease better or worse. But if we take Alex to different physicians, we could have an issue because some diseases and some problems are not like easy to diagnose, so you could get contradicting opinions and fighting physicians. And of course, Alex is not amused. Me as a scientist, I don't like it either because we want to understand what's going on and we want something objective. So I have an idea, we could replace our physicians. Just take cameras and observe the hand from different angles, so we can at least take a look from different angles, pause the video, slow it down. Or we do something even better. You might have heard about it in context of movies, optical motion capturing. So we take little boys, we call them markers on the hand, and use special cameras, and these markers can then be tracked perfectly, and we know exactly where each marker is. And from there, we get measurements like this. Each of these colorful balls is the exact position of a marker, and with this we have at least some quantified value how the hand moves. But some of you might be suspicious already. Didn't I tell you about looking in the human hand and not on the human hand, because that was already done and we just used equipment that's already there. And that is where I, as a mechanical engineer, come to play. So this is me at my working place, looking at my computer every day and thinking. Usually I think about hands in different sizes and different shapes, but not because I like them, not because I like hands very much, but because I have to think about how we can model all hands. So we need something generic like this, the stick figure. So there are different number of bones, we have different joints, each of the joints moves differently, so your thumb is different than the index finger, obviously. But I also think about more difficult stuff like engineering stuff, the dynamics of my bodies, how forces propagate from one body to another, or also how the joints that I mentioned affect the movement of these bodies. And since we want to simulate something in the end, we also have to be a little bit efficient with the computing stuff. And as an engineer, I use a language, some of you might have heard of it, we call it math, and it's much more complicated, but trust me, it's the same. As even I, as an engineer, don't like to look at just equations all the time. We hide them again in a model here in the bottom, so everything in the end is again nice and we can visualize something. With this model, we can now think about how biomechanical guys simulate movement in a realistic way, and for this we use more math with the assumption that all of us move optimally. However, optimally is defined because everybody of us moves different, obviously. However, with much thinking and much research about what optimally means for a certain movement, for a certain body part, we can now use all our methods together with measurements to investigate what's going on inside Alex's hand. So back to Alex. Then we take knowledge about Alex's hand, transfer that knowledge to the hand model. Now we have a digital version which is exactly resembling Alex's hand, and together with the measurement of the movement, we can now let the hand move. And we just know how Alex's hand moves on the outside, but with my model, we know what's also going on the inside. And with this, we can create insight about what forces act on the joints, how exhausting is a movement, and especially if changes of our model predict changes in the disease, and maybe we can say a certain change is connected to a better or worse outcome of the disease or better or worse progression. And with these methods and together with physicians, we can again make Alex happy because Alex gets a better diagnosis, better treatment. We can make the physicians happy because they don't have to fight anymore. And me and my colleagues as scientists, we are also happy because we did something useful with our time. Thank you.